Hello everyone, and you may have noticed that I like video games. It's only the basis of the entire channel, and every YouTube channel I've ever started. But video games isn't all I love, so I figured let's broaden my horizons by reading stories about video games. Just what everyone always wanted, and you may have noticed I like horror games. So, I figured I'd take a little glance at the creepypasta wiki and see what we could pull up. So, I found a story called The Theater, and, I figured it sounded like a good go for my first read, so let's start. Have you ever heard of an old game called The Theater? Yeah, didn't think so. Probably because many say it doesn't exist, and those people would be assholes. You see, The Theater was an old game released around the same time as Doom. Today, if you ever find it, it's only available on crappy bootleg CD-ROMs, which more often than not don't even actually contain the games. Jeez, speaking of assholes, who sells that kind of bootleg CD? The actual legitimate copies that say they were released back in the day feature a blank cover with nothing but the sprite of what has since been named the Ticket Taker. Sounds like a cool dude. He is simply a poorly drawn, pixelated, bald, Caucasian man with large red lips. You know, I don't know if drawn is the right word for pixel art, but Caucasian man with large red lips, wearing a red vest over a white shirt and black pants. He is completely expressionless, though some say that if you smash the disc, his face is shown as angry the next time you look at the cover. Who says these things? Oh, let me just try and smash this copy of this ultra-rare game to see if this guy gets pissed at me. Oh, well, he's mad. That was dumb. He's mad, and now I can't sell it for $1 million. This is just dismissed as an urban legend. What is peculiar about the theater, I can't even say that word, though, is that there is no developer named on the jewel case. The jewel case? That sounds fancy for the game, but okay. Nor a game description on the back. It is simply the Ticket Taker on a white background on both sides. The game was initially known for its inability to install correctly. That's my favorite thing for games to be known by. Don't you love it when you're like, I'm just gonna play this game. Oh, well. Who would even buy it? It's known for its inability to work. That's why it's famous, because it's shit. Installation process immediately locks up the computer when the user reaches the licensing agreement. Also strange about the licensing agreement for the theater is that whatever the development studio is supposed to be named, the text is simply a blank line. Anyways, most people who have claimed to owning one of the original CDs say that they figured out how to install the game by simply rebooting their computer on the licensing agreement with the disc still inside. Then they are prompted to press I agree on startup when they continue with the installation. Can you do that? I guess, yeah, you'd leave your CD. Okay, I get it. If a player supposedly manages to find a way to believe... Wait. If a player supposedly manages to find what they believe to be a working copy... Wait. Is there a way they... No, I guess that is just supposed to be quotes. They have said that the installer window will freeze and stop responding before you can click your first next. But they do also say that their PCs do not lock up, and it is only the installer that freezes. It is unknown if these are actual copies or fakes, but it is widely thought that these working copies are just to draw internet attention with no proof of the installation effects. Upon proper installation, The game then starts up without any introduction besides a main menu that is simply the sprite of a movie theater's exterior on an empty city street. Wow, how exciting. The title fades in, and then 3 menu buttons. New game, load, options. Selecting options immediately crashes the game to the desktop. Okay, so I have the option to not play it. At least there's that. Load is said not to function at all. Even if you do have a saved game, nothing happens when you press it. This game just sounds top-notch. 10 out of 10, best game. Thus, new game is the only working menu option. Yes, thank you. Once it is selected, you are in the first-person view. You are standing in an empty movie theater lobby, with the exception of the ticket taker standing in front of a dark hallway, which one can only assume leads to the theaters themselves. There's nothing to do but look at the poorly drawn, mostly illegible movie posters, or approach the ticket taker. Once the player moves towards the ticket taker, I swear, that name, the ticket taker. There's probably a more accurate name to that, but anyways, a very low quality sound clip plays saying,
"Thank you, please enjoy the movie,"
along with a speech box saying the same thing. You then walk into the hallway and the screen fades to black and you're back in the empty lobby. And you do the exact thing again, and again, and again. Well, this may sound like a really horrible game. Oh, I said that about 3 paragraphs ago at least. A number of peculiar things occur as you continue to play it. I guess I should say strange things. Sorry for my bad pronunciation. The number of times that you have to continue into the hallway after giving your ticket to the ticket taker before the strange events happen is unknown. Most state that it's completely random and could take anywhere from the first playthrough to the 400th. What happens, though, has deeply disturbed some players. Not all of them, though. Some of them are pretty happy-go-lucky about this whole ghost nonsense. I'm just guessing it's ghosts. The first occurrence is when the player fades back in after walking into the hallway. This time, they will notice the ticket taker is completely absent. The player then, without any other options, decides to walk into the dark hallway. The sound clip and text box mentioned previously still play in the absence of the ticket taker. But when the player walks into the hallway, the screen does not fade out. It goes pitch black as they walk deeper into the hall. But the player's footstep sound clip is still playing as they continue to push the up button on their keyboard. Those claiming to have played the original game report to have felt extremely uncomfortable walking down the hallway, anticipating the whole way something horrible happening. Well, eventually, the player is unable to move forward. There's nothing for a few moments before a strange sprite that is described as the ticket taker, but with a swirl for a face, appears and stands before the player. A swirl face, huh? The original players of the game say their bodies immediately froze up and their stomachs churned. They saw this sprite, which was appropriately named the Swirly Head Man. Ah, yes, the Swirly Head Man, clearly up there with the likes of the Slender Man and the Jason. Nothing happens as the Swirly Head Man stands before them. Then suddenly a piercing screech plays as the game glitches out. This lasts for a few seconds, seconds, jeez. Minutes actually is quite a while, with the screeching being continuous. Then the players abruptly return to the lobby, with all the sounds and graphics being as they should be. The game continues normally for the next couple of cycles. of entering the hallway, with a couple of the original players claiming the swirly headman would briefly appear and disappear in the corner of the screen as a brisk yelp sound effect plays. Then, at some point, don't you just hate that when ghosts are appearing everywhere and yelping at you? It's the worst. Then, at some point after meeting the swirly headman, the player sees the ticket taker pacing back and forth, though there is no walking animation. The sprite's limbs are completely static, so he just hops up and down slightly as a substitute, with his eyes being wide and his mouth being open to stimulate a worried facial expression. Some players noted that the movie posters had been replaced with images of the swirly head man, which caused them to immediately turn their characters' heads away from the posters and approach the ticket taker. Then, another, different low-quality sound clip plays, but the speech box contains nothing but corrupted characters that cause whatever text that would have been in the box to be completely illegible. Due to the extremely low quality of the sound, it is debated by players what exactly the ticket taker says at this point, though it is widely agreed that he says,
"Never reach the other levels."
Then the screen fades out once again, and the player turn back to their starting point in the lobby. But the ticket taker is gone, and the hallway is blocked by a large brick wall sprite. Touching the brick wall will immediately crash the game, and that's all there is to it. Wow. I guess you never will reach the other levels then if there's just a big old brick wall. Thanks, Mr. Swirly Head Man. I want to play your stupid game anyways. No one knows what the other levels are or how to gain access to them, nor is it known why the swirly headman causes such acute fear in those who have seen him in the game. All the original copies of the theater have either been lost or destroyed, but the creepiest part is the fact that all the original players of the game claim to occasionally see a brief glimpse of the swirly headman out of the corner of their eye. That would have been pretty hilarious.
Oh, that did not do anything.
Wow.
I think I gotta leave now.
Man, are you sure you can set these on fire? These seem pretty fire resistant. Like, no offense to anyone who likes tic-tac-toe,
yes,
I don't think there's anyone
no
who
one.
does. I don't think there is. I think you're actually right. I mean, I've never heard someone